Good afternoon and welcome to the National TVET Skills Youth Forum. This year we're under the broad theme, Think Future, Think Skills. And according to the World Bank, low skills actually perpetuate poverty and inequality. However, when done right, skills development can reduce unemployment and underemployment, increase productivity, and improve standard of living. People, when they develop their skills and update their skills, this actually makes economic sense for them and for the country in which they operate. Today, we're here to hear from our young people. They want to inform policymakers, decision makers as to how we can advance the skills agenda in a way that makes economic sense. Now, these young people have been working in brainstorm clusters, and today we're going to engage with those who have been working in the cluster looking at innovation and global citizenship. Now we meet the panelists. We're going to ask each panelist just to say their name, their institution, and a little bit about themselves. We begin with Jamila.
Good afternoon. My name is Jamila Simon. I am a Goldman High School for Girls, and my skill area is food and nutrition, specifically cooking.
Thank you. We continue with Christina.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Christina McKay. I'm from the Hart College of Beauty Services. I am also a trained chef, graduate from Runaway Bay Art and the Boys Town Academy. I do general beauty, meaning that we do everything from face to toe, except for hair. And I must say that Hart has been a stepping stone and a career builder for me. Thank you.
General beauty from face to toe. Love that, Christina. And we go to Brittany.
My name is Brittany Malahoo. I am from Petersfield Hart. That's in Westmoreland. My specialty, my training field is level 3 commercial chef, also known as chef de partie.
Thank you, Brittany. I'm sure you're going to be chefing up a lot of things from now all the way into the future as we operate under this theme, Think Skills, Think Future. You're not just thinking, but you're actually doing. We move to Paris.
My name is Stars Jordan Williams. I also attend the Art College of Beauty Services, where I do level 3 in beauty service.
Thank you very much, Paris. Level 3 in beauty service. So we have beauticians, chefs, people into food and nutrition that does much more than just cooking. All right. So we are looking at the cluster in which we have had discussions with these young people. Even before today, they have been brainstorming, working hard, thinking about how we can inform policymakers as to what we're looking at in skills now to prepare for the future. So we're going to have an opening statement coming to us from Jamila.
So global citizenship and innovation can create a community where ideas and different methods can be shared between different persons from different countries. It can help in advancing economic development where businesses can move from an informal to a more formal way of operating, which can create opportunities for more persons to develop different skills, which can also help in advancing the skills development.
All right, lovely. Now, we've spoken about skills that are already represented even in this panel here. So there are skills in chef services, there are skills in beauty services. Do you think that enough is being done so that we can connect those skills to actually the field of entrepreneurship? Anybody on the panel can take this question.
To be honest, even though we might have a skill, where it comes down to qualifications and actually policies, right? We tend to be a bit underpaid, undergrade, especially in Jamaica at large. We have a lot of connections, yes, but it's not so noticeable. And even when we go abroad, we still have to retrain. So it's basically, yes, there's going to be retraining for every industry or probably every company that you go into. But when it's not recognized, it's kind of somewhat discouraging. It can be, but if you don't know yourself, because one, if you want to do something in life, you have to know yourself.
Yes, absolutely.
Right? And doing that, you go, you do your research, you want to know that this is what you want to do. And you just take your step and, make it possible.
Yes. And since your cluster would have looked at global citizenship and innovation, we want to make sure that your skills are not just fit for Jamaica, but fit for wherever in the globe, because you're operating in a global space. So is there more that our government needs to do, or policymakers, to make sure that as you're being trained in your skill areas, you're ready for the world and not just Jamaica? Is there more that needs to be done? And if so, what more?
I feel that more needs to be done. I feel that the government can create more programs to create more awareness of these skill areas. And
so the skill areas are there, right?
Yeah.
And people know about the programs that the Heart Trust NST offers, but we need some more training, knowledge, exposure for them to understand the global opportunities. Yes? Do you want to add some more to that, Paris?
Well, I think that for one, a lot more skill areas should be introduced in the high school level, because you will have a lot more kids interested in doing that. Because honestly, sometimes not a lot of kids are interested in doing science or maths at school. So introducing like baking, makeup, or something like that will definitely broaden their perspective of what they might want to do in the future.
Right. So you're saying introduce skills early.
Yes.
So early introduction of skills can actually help our youngsters to start charting a path. What age do you think we should start exposing our children to skills, Jamila?
I believe we can even start exposing them at a much earlier age than high school. Even in the primary level, they can introduce simple baking courses that involve the children, and they can get an idea as to what it is like to actually work with their hands, because for most of their childhood, they have just been going to school, writing in their books, but some children want to really work with their hands, and they need to be given that opportunity from a much younger age.
Right. And if we engender these kinds of narratives and keep driving them, your grandmother used to say, take your hand and turn fashion. How many people heard that before?
Yeah.
Right? So Paris, you have heard that before.
Yes,
and there's no age that's too young to start taking your hand and turn fashion, right?
No, there's no age.
So can you tell us how can we make sure that this kind of narrative is running through our society?
Okay, so, well, definitely having someone there that will push you towards that.
Right? So our young people need more motivation.
Yes.
So how can those people who can really make the changes make that happen?
I'm definitely going into the schools or wherever there are, well, youth centers, because I noticed that a lot of communities does not have youth centers that introduce this to young children. So definitely having that aspect there.
Right. So, we love to talk about the schools, but our young people are not just in schools. There are churches, there are youth centers. Some of them are unattached and they're on the roadside.
And then I was going to add too that as kids, we spend most of our days at school and at home. So it has to start from home as well. I don't want to really make comparisons, right? But there are countries that actually they encourage their kids to start from age of 4 going shopping. They're sharing their own food. They're cleaning up after themselves. You get the training, you get the experience, you get hands-on to actually do something instead of wanting someone to sit down and be in the background, not stepping out, not seeing what you can do or shine.
So it's never too early to start teaching our children skills. And there's a way to start teaching your child from 4 years old, 5 years old, teaching them how to use money, how to operate, how to, strengthen their skills from early. So there's just one more thing that I'd like to raise before we close this section. We're talking about innovation and global citizenship, and we're in a digital age. how can we bring those skills to the digital space? Because you're now playing in a digital space. So is there any recommendation for decision makers? How to, we can bring these skills to the digital space so you can be playing in that global sphere?
First, you need to do your research, right? Everything is on the internet now. You can find whatever you want on the internet. So in terms of bringing your skill or making it digital, you need to know how, firstly, to incorporate it into your business, if your business, or how to make you a better person, how to make you a better hairdresser, how to make you a better nail technician or a chef, whichever it may be. Or just like Mr. Azans was talking about earlier, how can I use my talent or gift? How can I hone that talent and turn it into something else? So innovation has to do with creativity. So in owning this and actually taking your time practicing, then you can actually, be successful in life.
I like that. Own it, OWN, and hone it, HONE, to develop your skills. Yeah. And recently I went to do my lashes, and the vocabulary that the woman had about everything about lashes and everything that I didn't know, it was just amazing to see her owning and honing her talents. And Jamelia is bubbling over to add something to this point.
I believe that the government can incorporate these skills. Seeing that most students are now online, there can be classrooms added to teach these skills online so that it reaches a much wider audience from that.
Very strong recommendation there. So have the skills classroom that students can engage, especially some people who can't pay attention much to the science and the English regularly, but if there's something that they can do and make and act.
To learn that, because it'll be much more interactive and interesting. Because not everybody wants to sit down for hours learning about the maths or the English. Some want to learn how to do something with their hands.
All right. That reminds me of Gardner's multiple intelligences when I listen to all of you speaking about engaging, using your hands and using your skills to actually advance the skills agenda and therefore advance our economy here in Jamaica. All right. Does anybody else want to add something in terms of your skill area and how do you see yourself advancing now and into the future? I'll give one person that honor to share.
So I am a chef de partie. So my specialty is cooking. It's an all-round type of course where we learn a little bit of everything. I can see myself in the future owning my own restaurant in Negril on the West End, because I really love that area. It just has this ambience that I enjoy. And I would love to be a very good entrepreneur in the future while building my business.
Awesome. What a lovely way to move into the closing statement. This is being recorded, and I hope that when you listen to this, 5 years from now, you can say, oh, look at me now with my fabulous restaurant, not just in the grill, but maybe a chain of restaurant. Who knows? Maybe employing some of the rest of us who would want to come and work for you. All right. So we're going to move to the closing statement to close out this cluster on innovation and global citizenship.
Okay. So building a community is very important in whichever skill area you might be in. Even being involved in associations that can help you to strengthen your skills, right? We need to also have unity, and we can't be tearing each other down. Yeah. We need to encourage those who we see come out with creativity, those who have their ideas, those who believe that this is what I'm strong in, and not discourage them. I'm speaking from parents to teachers to friends, whoever they may be. And if we can do this and we can strengthen each other and not fight and tear down each other, and also find ways, innovative ways of making it come out. I mean, there are Olympic Games that are being created that persons wouldn't even think about. These things can be implemented. We cannot say, all right, this is not so, or this cannot be done, because anything is possible. And if we believe that, it can come through.
Anything is possible. We're closing out this panel with Jamelia, Christina, Paris, and Brittany, who is closing out saying, look, let us take a multi-stakeholder approach towards innovation and global citizenship so that we can advance the skills agenda to really make economic sense in our country and the world at large. We're going to take a break here as we prepare for the clusters on gender inequality, entrepreneurship, and decent work. Welcome back, and we're here at the National TVET Youth Forum with the goal to determine how 5 focus areas will advance the skills agenda and economic growth in our country and by extension our world. The 5 focus areas are gender inequality, innovation, global citizenship, entrepreneurship, and decent work. Now, our panelists today will be looking at gender equality, entrepreneurship, and decent work. Just before we're introduced to our panelists, I want to remind you of a quote we heard mentioned earlier by Miss Stacy and Kane Davis. She mentioned the quote from Robert Greene that said, "The future belongs to those who learn more skills and combine them in creative ways." Now, our panelists today will tell us how that can be done. Also, one John Ruskin said, "Skill is the unified force of experience, intellect, and passion in their operation." That you'll see in operation today. Let's hear who our panelists are, beginning at the closest panelist to me.
Afternoon, my name is Leon Mitchell. I'm a Bachelor of Engineering and Industrial Systems student at the Caribbean Maritime University, and I'm also the president of the WorldSkills alumni.
Sienna?
Good afternoon. My name is Sienna Brown, and I am a trainee at the Hard Petersfield Vocational Training Center in Westmoreland, and I'm also a volleyball player.
Chanel?
Hi, everyone. My name is Chanel McPherson. I'm representing Amber Park Academy that's located at Sunday, that's the Park Studio campus. What I do here is computer skill administration.
Cruz?
Hi, my name is Cruz Taylor. I'm attending the Heart Institute in Stony Hill. I'm currently studying network support.
Zachary?
Hi, my name is Zachary Anglin. I'm representing Jamaica College, and my specialization in WorldSkills is in mechatronics.
And O'Shane?
Hi, everyone. My name is O'Shane Weller, and I'm the president of the Training Council for Art Eastern TVET Institute, and I'm a business administration student there.
Thank you very much. Now, opening up the forum officially, we're going to have an opening statement. All right. So let's have an introduction, and we are zooming in one participant who's going to introduce himself for us. Please go ahead, Leonardo. Leonardo?
Hello.
Go ahead and introduce yourself to us.
Okay. So my name is Leonardo Souza. I'm representing Brazil. In 2019, I had a wonderful opportunity to represent my country in WorldSkills International in Casa Edition in the skill mechanical engineering test. And I got the gold medal, the best of the nation award. And currently I'm working at Senai teaching students and preparing competitors for the WorldSkills.
All right. So Leonardo is a past WorldSkills champion, and he had joined us for a brainstorming sessions that we had 2 days of brainstorming sessions. He has been working with his fellow youth panelists here so that today they could tell their views on what they want to see policymakers and decision makers doing to advance the skills agenda and economic growth. All right. So now we're going to have an opening statement on the entrepreneurship and decent work cluster.
Entrepreneurship and decent work are two of the most important things in today's day and age, as many people are going to be going into work fields and they're going to be wanting to be their own boss, it's very important that they have the necessary skills to ensure that they can push for economic growth in whatever country they're in.
All right, great. And now we're going to have the opening statement on the gender equality focus area.
Gender equality continues to be a pandemic despite the work done over the years. It is still not an acceptable level. It is still not at an acceptable level due to a present risk of either tipping extremely towards female or towards male.
All right, so we want a more balanced kind of approach, not tipping to either male or female. So to open up the discussions officially, how can we ensure that we're having that balance where we're not tipping in either direction as it relates to advancing the skills agenda?
Well, I believe that, both genders should get the same opportunities, they should get the same opportunities that they can actually show that, yes, they are able to do this type of skill, or they can show what they want to do and not be shunned because the male is more dominant or female is weak and so forth.
All right. So I want to take us into some practical real life examples so that when the decision makers listen to this, they can say, okay, this is how we can change policy. This is what we want to see happening in the workforce, in our classrooms. Can you take it to a more practical level for us?
Definitely. Well, for me, I'm a computer programmer, right?
So we have the niche to say that men are more tech savvy. Mm-hmm. No, that's an argument I want to raise. All right, so basically, I just want the world to know that females, as well as any male, have the same dominance, the same potential, and we too know languages that many persons don't know. And I remember a story, not just in coding. I remember one time I went to a construction site to apply for a job. I didn't have any work at the time, so I just needed something to do, right? I had some prior background knowledge of construction because that's what my father is. She's a mason.
Yes.
So I went on the site, asked this shiny man, I asked him, what were some of the job opportunities that were there that I could take on?
Yes.
He looked at me from head to toe. Right? So I knew before I even started to open my mouth, I was being judged as a female trying to get a work on a construction site. And then he asked if I knew any male that would be interested in the position. Then my father came to mind. So these are some things that I would like the world to take keen attention and pay keen attention to. Because if we're able to now groom our youths from an earlier stage not to come up with the same mindset that we currently have going on, then we're now able to think future, think skills, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
So when we're thinking future, think skills, we need to be adjusting mindsets.
Yes.
Yeah. Is there any way that you can recommend that we can do this, O'Shane, to help to transform the mindsets of our young people and the people that engage our young people as well?
Personally, I believe that taking it from what Shay is saying, I would say that it is more of a social upbringing of how we raise our generation. Because how we were raised growing up, you would never see a male become a nurse. Growing up, we know that is a female profession. So if we are to adjust and think skills and think future, I think we need to change the mindsets of the youths, change the social being and how society views certain things towards skills. Not because it is full of female doesn't mean a male can't do it. Not because a lot of males are in it doesn't mean a female cannot do it. Because I have been to a mechanic shop and I've seen a female drop an engine faster than a male. I've seen that.
Thank you. Do you want to weigh in on this conversation, Leonardo? As we look at the skills agenda locally and globally, is there a way that we can engage with our young people and also the people that influence our young people to make it more effective, Leonardo? Leonardo?
I can't hear you.
So, Leonardo, when when we engage males and females in skills areas, do you have any suggestion as to how we can improve to make sure it's not male focused or female focused, but there is a balance?
Okay, yeah. About female, and I totally support that. After I always competed against women, and the way always very good. You have a better name, various criteria, such as organization, for example, and 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 a lot of women, a lot of men, all of the gender equality, all of genders are climbing in the WorldSkills podium. But I prefer to give the same opportunity for all people.
Same opportunities for all and ensure that we're not discriminating. So as we look at policy agendas, we should make sure that this is at the forefront, says our local panelist and says Leonardo from Brazil. All right. Another area that we're looking at in terms of a focus here is decent work. So we're not just giving our young people the skills, but we want them to access decent work, having been skilled. How can we ensure we're doing this? We're bringing this question to you, Dean Roy.
All right, decent work. I think that we can actually start this from the lower level or the lower educational level, right? Because the work or the job market that is out there, we're trying to look at persons based on educational level, right, or what qualification rather than the skills that they possess, right? And not trying to bend it too much on gender equality, right? But when you mix the both with decent work, no, that is where we need to start focusing on the gender, right, and focus more on the skill, right? So with that, no, I think implementing certain skills or educational programs in primary school, not just high school, but as young as those are in primary school, we can actually help to develop our youth and introduce them to future skills.
Yes. Do you want to weigh in on this, Cruz?
As for introducing it, it would have to be, in my opinion, a phase process. Whereas from a young age, they don't have to pick up the skill per se, but yes, at the very least, bring them to a mechanic's shop and say, do you like this? And as they go on, if they like it, let them continue with it. Let the younger children of our generation try different things.
Yes.
It is statistically impossible for you to try 100 things and not like one.
So for a lot of young people who are saying, I don't know what I want to do, your recommendation is try different things.
Yes.
You'll find it somewhere in trying.
I'm not saying to tell them to try different things. From the school's perspective, say on a Friday after school,
yes,
you could take a few students and bring them to different places.
Immerse them into it.
Yes.
All right. Does anyone else want to weigh in on the idea of when these people are skilled, we need to make sure that they're finding decent work, that they're qualified for and being well paid for? Are we doing well with that transition? Is there more that needs to be done?
Well, I'm representing, as mentioned, Amber Heart Academy. What I really like about the initiative with Amber, big thank you to Deshaun Sabia, that's the CEO of Amber, and also Archers for partnering. And the government on a whole, they now have introduced a skill area that young persons can go to. So after training, it is where we'll be moving directly into a job. So the government, they're trying to move into the right phase as we speak, but there's still some more work that needs to be done.
Great. And as you said that, we were speaking in the brainstorm session about coding. And I asked you if coding can make economic sense. And what did you say?
Coding is the economic. Can you just imagine what the world will be without, technology evolving? So, and it has helped me to now be able to look towards a brand new future path that I didn't know existed before. And actually, my colleague and I, we normally tutor young children on a Saturday, each Saturday on coding. So it's growing fast. And we had around 31 persons involved, kids as young as age 8, every Saturday.
Absolutely. Things can happen at the grassroots level, and skills actually create pathways. I think that's a theme that has been coming up this morning. So we're going to have the closing statements under gender equality first, and then entrepreneurship and decent work following to close out this panel.
To close off gender equality, I would say that so gender equality, or the fight for gender equality, isn't just left to those in power, right? It's a fight that should see us united towards a common goal, advancing the skills agenda and increasing economic growth for a better future for us and the ones to follow.
Uniting towards a common goal. And we have the closing statement on entrepreneurship and decent work.
Okay, so for entrepreneurship, personally, I believe that it's not just about starting a business. It's about having the right mindset, matching your skill with whatever business. It makes no sense in owning a business that you know nothing about. You must know something about it, which is why you must first identify your skill. Own it by believing in yourself. I can't sell you that book that you're reading, miss, if I do not believe the words that are written on the paper, miss. So by owning my skill and believing in that book, miss, I become a better entrepreneur to sell it to you. And then I create jobs. I create the opportunity. I inspire others, and they will inspire others. That is how I build a stable economy in our country.
True. Yes, sir.
So there you have it, a powerful end. Own your skills and hone your skills. But before we wrap up completely, we want to see if we have any final words from Leonardo, who is actually a past WorldSkills champion. Do you want to leave some final words for us here, Leonardo?
And I would like to thank you all for this moment. It's a great honor for me to participate in the event. And also the decent work, I believe the decent work is a good team working organization in of course, working feeling happy every day, because I believe that's how we do a great job, with a feeling of victory for each task delivered and extendment to the next.
Thank you, Leonardo, and continue doing great work in Brazil. We're looking forward to continuously hearing about the work that you've been doing, because not only do we want to have youngsters winning at the WorldSkills stage, but we also want to have them continuing to do work in their small corners, work that impacts their community and then the world at large. So you heard it from our panelists. They're saying, let's match skills to the realities in our world to advance the skills agenda and improve our economy. That's it for the TVET Youth Forum. Thank you.